Hey everyone, it is June 14th at 8:06 p.m. On Monday. Yeah, June 14th, 2021 in Berkeley, California. You're listening to Eric on the World. I'm Eric. I'm doing something a little bit different today um, because I know that this is somewhat primarily geared towards the YouTubes viewer. For anybody, if this is like your first time, I'm Eric. I'm a writer. I do comedy, and I have a podcast kind of about traveling the world. And I try to have guests on. Frequently, that doesn't work out, so it just turns into like this journal. So today, I want to talk about Bo Burnham's new special on Netflix called Inside, and I have some notes that I'm going to be referencing, but particularly if you've scoured YouTube, there's some amazing like breakdowns of the special that employ, much like the special Inside, like beautiful editing and techniques. I don't really have the time or resources to do that. That's not really what I do. So this is really just going to be more of like a vlog, which totally, for anyone who's watched it, gets made fun of and all that shit. But I'm not in a great place. I'm not in a great mood. So to begin, I think I'm just going to talk about the special and my initial impressions, and then my like after the fact and retrospect impressions. And then I'm kind of going to get into like how I'm doing in this like severe, I'll say, impact that it had on me. And like there's other stuff happening in the world. Like, hey, California is opening up tomorrow, supposedly with no mask. There's all sorts of stuff I was going to talk about, but we're just doing Bo Burnham's Inside today. So I remember I was in college, I believe, my last undergrad semester at Berkeley when Bo Burnham first burst onto the scene on YouTube, and I remember being super entertained by him. He's this like 16-year-old precocious kid filming these musical comedy songs in his bedroom in his parents' house, and very clever, like in a way that almost made me, I didn't laugh so much as like I appreciated what he was doing. Like clearly a very smart kid. And then like he continued to gain notoriety. He kind of fell off my radar. He would pop up every now and then. Like I'd see that he had specials, and there's a great clip if you YouTube Bo Burnham, The Green Room, which is like this awesome show that you can pretty much find all of them on YouTube, where it's a bunch of comics getting together. And there's this clip, and he's 20 years old, and he's just going toe to toe with all these seasoned comedians, like, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And it was very obvious that like there was something more to Bo Burnham than just being this kind of like, I don't know, like rich white snobby kid. Like very smart, and like I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes it kind of annoyed me, but like as he's grown up and produced more work, it's like, dude, you can't doubt that this guy is phenomenally talented, and is obviously impacting people like myself in the world. So when I heard that, Netflix showed, okay, he has a new special out, decided to watch like the first 15-20 minutes, and I was kind of like, the concept is that he is staying in this room during the pandemic for this past year, and decided to shoot a special, and that it's kind of haphazard and like all strung together with lots of seams being shown. And as I'll discuss later, like that's not even necessarily the case. Like that's part of the brilliance is that he's potentially presenting or selling something which is done so well that we take it at face value, but there might actually not, it just might not be, and everything might not be what it seems. So the first 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, he's doing his Bo Burnham thing. He's writing clever little songs. He's talking about how it sucks to, irony about being like a white guy who just talks online, which again, totally get that that's what I'm doing right here. There's a point at which it becomes exhausting to apologize. Like you can never get out of your head if you're like, okay, well, I'm self-aware that I'm doing this, but then being self-aware doesn't absolve you from like, and then I'm apologizing and it's stressful. And then I think for a lot of other people, they're like, okay, just fucking say what you need to say. Stop the apology thing. But then like, you're like trying to tailor everything you say to the, however, many YouTube commenters and internet commenters and Twitter people that are going to come after you. And it's like, obviously you can't please everybody. And then the fucking algorithms of social media rewards the outrage. And so even people who are normally nice people are way more assholes online and seek out people to fucking yell at and get in trouble. And it's like, it's a fucking exhausting process, which he takes head on in the special, but it's like inescapable, right? Because I'm still here talking about my own situation with respect to that. But anyway, so I turned off the special because I was like, yeah, okay, he's doing his Bo Burnham thing, whatever. And then I saw someone online post about all these emotional feelings they had from it. I was like, emotional feelings? Like, I didn't fully get that out of the special. So like I turned it back on, eating dinner, like to pass the time as you do. And the special, as it progresses, which ostensibly covers this year that he took to make it, definitely has a tone shift. And I would say stops presenting itself as a comedy special, which I've only seen it once. I need to go back. I will go back and rewatch it. Like I don't think he ever uses the word comedy special, but right, that's like how people think of him online. But he does say special. It really like opens up the form where I think it stops trying to be clever comedically. It's not that doesn't happen, but that's not the main goal. The goal is to be like a fucking raw piece of art and brilliant, and that does not disappoint at all. It is. So as this thing progresses on, I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God. And like, I'm seeing him play with the form and do all sorts of like experimental media things, and with everything, with video, with music. The lighting and cinematography is amazing. And again, the other part is like, he didn't have a crew. Like he just shot this all by himself in this room. And every bit of it is amazing. The music production, the cinematography, the lighting, the conceptual aspects of it like are mind-blowing. So even though it seems like it's this thing all cobbled together, as it progresses on, you realize like all these very specific choices that seemingly were made at the very beginning as well, and that maybe this kind of sort of fell together with some happy accidents, but like a lot of it seems like, oh my, like very specifically intentioned. And I cannot even begin to conceptualize how he put this thing together with, again, you can watch way better YouTube breakdowns with visuals and all that stuff. But, changing the aspect ratio when he's feeling more isolated, or just even when he's talking, there's like a whole song about FaceTiming with his mom, to mimic the iPhone aspect ratio. The images, or like even just patterns that he's projecting on the wall when he's talking about like criticizing the vast open space of the internet, and it looks like stars in the universe, but then when he pulls back to talk about the early days of the internet, the song slows down and the light and the star lighting goes away. It's just like, it hurts my brain to even process. Like, one of the things that he's talked about, not just in this special, but at other times, is that all of this is a fabrication, right? Like, what I'm doing right now is a fabrication. I would not just be talking to a fucking camera or wall if this wasn't for an audience. Right? Like, I have this dumbass pop screen on here, which looks like shit. But it's to make it sound better. And then me mentioning that it looks like a dumbass thing is because I'm afraid of you guys commenting like, what the fuck is, why does he have this on here? I'm working with the limited resources I have. But authenticity is a really, I think, big thing that's been a part of Bo Burnham's career. And how do you present yourself authentically when as soon as you use that word, present, there's already artifice involved, right? There's already a manicuring of what that authentic self will look like. And so there's some shots where it's like he's just showing himself editing, but like the shot of him showing himself editing, the behind the scenes quote unquote shots are so beautiful and framed so perfectly that like then you have to ask the question like, well, that's not just an accidental like found footage shot, right? Like that was a setup shot to show that. And so then you're like, well, was this whole thing staged? And I think the answer is 82% yes. But I think it's worth noting, and this is a stab in the dark, I don't know, shot in the dark, stab, taking a stab. I don't think that means that it's inauthentic just because it was curated or manicured. I think when you talk about presenting something in this like media world, you realize that from the get-go, it's going to lose. It's never going to be in its purest, rawest form, even if it is just found footage or a camera. Like the person holding it decides how that's framed, right? The editor decides what makes it online, what doesn't, what the audience sees, what they don't. So it's an unwinnable war in that sense. So I think if you can accept that, which I think Bo does, he then says, okay, well, how can I put things together that are intentional choices, but that most authentically represent what I want to convey, the emotions that I'm having, the process that this was to make this special. I mean, it's a hugely meta special in many regards. So yeah, I mean, I really truly think this thing's gonna be studied for years, decades, as not only a brilliant piece of film work, media, music, but is kind of capturing, the zeitgeist of not just this pandemic, which is worth noting. If I'm not mistaken, he never once mentions the word pandemic, which also makes me wonder, like, had he planned this out for more than a year? And this is like, I don't know. But just that, like, the times that we're living in, where like it feels like the fucking world could end any number of ways, and in many ways already has. And the toxic toll that the beast that is the internet that we're all kind of suckling from its teat, as I'm doing again as we speak, how that beast is tearing us apart and pitting us against each other and making us feel just fucking empty and vapid and soulless. It's a heavy fucking piece. There's definitely like laughs in the special, but cannot recommend it enough. I have hyperhidrosis. That's why I'm staring at my hand, which is super fucking sweaty. But okay, so now let's make it about me. I feel like I have been dealing with forms of anxiety, forms of depression my entire life. Certainly feelings of isolation. But I do feel like I had these like blips of that getting better, like in my early 20s. So that would have, for people, I'm 35. So we're talking like, I don't know, like 05 to like 2013. I felt like, all right, this is a good space. And then shit just got gross and ugly and weird. And part of that's me getting older. Part of that's that the world has changed. But I think that so much of that is about the fucking internet and social media and what it's become. And it's I don't know many people. And look, I love listening to podcasts. I love watching YouTube videos. I love seeing photos of friends and family members. But I don't know anybody these days who would just say that, like, on the whole, the internet makes them feel good. And I think if you flip that around and say, on the whole, does the internet make you feel bad? And I think there's a lot of people who would say yes to that. And I'll include myself in that. But it's become, this fabric of society that it seems impossible to live without. Try not having a cell phone. Try applying for a job without using the internet, without using email or LinkedIn or any of that shit. So this was particularly weird for me because I kind of like saw the first 20 minutes of the special and thought like, okay, that's cool, moving on. Like going through my normal struggles in life. And then I re-engaged with it a few days later, as I mentioned. And I have not been able to stop thinking about it ever since. The music, the meaning, watching, like I said, all these other YouTube breakdown videos. I feel like I've kind of been crippled by it. And obviously, like, I had all these emotions and things I'm dealing with myself beforehand. But this special, like, really, if you can relate on any level to the things he's talking about, it really confronts you with those issues. And then, like, through media, music, and so forth, like, earworms, like, puts it in your head, and, like, you can't stop thinking about it. I'm so glad I saw it, but it is exhausting. I mean, like, it's already exhausting just living in my own head, but then to have, like, someone so perfectly articulate the things that I'm feeling with catchy, jaunty, depressing, amazing music and commentary and insight, like, it's, I don't know, like, I don't know the last time that I consumed a piece of media that had such a profound impact on me. It's tough. I mean, I'm very self-conscious. I get self-conscious anytime I make these things, but like particularly self-conscious about these ones because of I know the audience that anything posting about Bo Burnham is going to have, which, like, of course, like, you think about that too, like, oh, maybe I'll garner some of those fucking views. But also, I mean, like, more importantly, like, the stuff he's talking about, like, it's inescapable. And like I said, like, I'm kind of tired of apologizing, and I think other people are tired of hearing apologies, like, in terms of what it is that we're doing here. What is, like, and that is a question, like, what is it that we're hoping to get out of this? Any of us, right? Like, what am I hoping to get out of? I tell myself it's like, to an extent, it's for me just to talk out my thoughts. But of course, when I like refresh my fucking YouTube thing and I see that I have like 6 views, I'm like, oh, man. One of them's like me. The other's my mom, who accidentally hit refresh. Half of it's from people with my DNA. Like, but it's just hard in this like capitalist society, like trying to figure out how to survive, especially if you're a creative person. And like, it used to be you could just kind of make things that came from the heart, but now it's like, these are the parameters and the rules that have been set forth. Like, here's how you do it. Like, I didn't have an idea to talk into my goddamn iPhone and put it up on YouTube. That was something other people did, and then some people got it done in a sustainable way. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll try that. Like, on my deathbed, am I gonna be like, I wish I made one more vlog video? No. But like, how do you sustain yourself in this world, like, with your true passions? And by the way, like, this would be, if I could make money doing this, I would love to. It would be way cooler than having some corporate shill job, But like, that's the whole thing that he's talking about, is like this entanglement that we're all in, and like, we don't, like, who knows who decided how to get here and how it would end up this way, but like, here we are, and it's so stressful and sucks. And even if you're able, like, you can't get out of your own head, and even if you're able to, or like conquer thoughts that you've had in the past, and like you win in that way, like, the internet and some shitty commenters right there to put that thought right back into your head and remind you of why you're failing or bad at whatever it is you're doing. And it's like, what the like, if you wanted to be an asshole, you used to have to like yell at someone directly, you know? And how it's just, you can like ruin someone's day and like you can give someone a complex with complete anonymity and ease of just fucking typing on a phone keyboard. And it's like, well, then don't open yourself up to this online. It's hard not to. Like I said, those are the paradigms that have been established for like creative people. It's like, I guess I need to have a fucking Twitter. I guess I need to be on TikTok. Like, yeah. For myself, like, I don't know creatively, like, I mean, I do know what I would love to do. I'd love to be a writer. I'd love to make cool artistic videos. I'd love to do stand-up comedy, and I'm pursuing all those things. But again, it's like tough in this world to make it. I have a fucked up head. Like I've had so many fantasies of like, yeah, I'm gonna make music and be this rock star and like have these like hotel room drug parties with orgies and just having sex and groupies throwing themselves at me. Like I've had those thoughts, and like in a way that I'm like, oh, but that could be fully realized. And like, and then you just like cut. It's just like me jacking off in my room, you know? Like, what can you? So the interesting thing is that like ostensibly Bo Burnham has that. Like he's literally a musician who's like beloved by so many people, super talented, toured the world, has plenty of young ladies throwing himself at him. And then he still creates this special, and he's still so painfully afflicted by many of the things that I am, many things that you guys are. Like, so that doesn't solve it. And I think it's like, I do think that one's life would be happier. God, please, I hope so. If they could achieve those things in their life. But at the end of the day, like, you're still living in this super shitty world that we're in, right? So it's like, I don't know. There's like a hopelessness hanging over the world. And it's one that I haven't seen in my own short lifetime, and just anecdotally speaking to other people who are older. Again, I'm 35, like that they've never felt it. And it just feels like we're fighting this war personally, globally, spiritually, and it's not going well, you know? Or we've already lost it. And so what do you do with that? Because like, even if you have personal success wins in your life, which like, Lord knows I am not, but if you did, you're still stuck with those other like global, spiritual, just fucking universe, existential hopelessness, you know? So it's like, what agency do we even have, like, at the end of the fucking day? Yeah. This clearly, I don't know. It's maybe piggybacking off what I just said. Like, I used to be depressed because, like, well, struggled with this stuff because I was disappointed in the world, or I was disappointed in parts of the world. And now, as I've gotten older, it's like I'm fucking disappointed in myself. And I'm disappointed in the whole world, and the world is fucked up. So it's like, I guess I can only try to work on myself as much as possible. But then, like, where do you end up at the end of the day? You end up, like, best case scenario, Bo Burnham, like a fucking amazing film director, musician, super talented, smart, funny guy. And you still talk about wanting to put a bullet in your head. So, yeah, I highly recommend this special. I know I'm rambling, and for the 26 minutes that this will take, there are so many poignant, brilliantly. I do want to talk about some of this. Dude, oh God, that ending song, that's the penultimate one, is so beautiful. It makes me want to cry every time I listen to it. I've listened to it many times, and some people have started to make covers of it. And just the like hands up, like needing the adulation from the crowd and pray for me, and in a weird, fucked up way, it's like funny in that sense. It's not. Yeah, I know I'm really rambling here, but like, I've been feeling it deep and heavy and not wanting to get out of bed and feeling like shit. And this special hit it right the right time to like completely encapsulate those feelings and amplify them, hopefully ultimately in a healthy way to confront them. But anyway, you guys, I appreciate you listening. I know I have my own art of look, follow me on the fucking thing down there. Like, I know it's all bullshit, man, but like we're all trying to just survive here. So I appreciate you listening if you made it this far. If you do want to follow me, you can do it Eric on the World on Instagram. I don't use Twitter. I had to delete that. That's too evil. Or subscribe on YouTube if you want to, see me in my tank top talking in my messed up bedroom about this. Thanks. I appreciate it. Go watch that special if you can. Watch it in 2 parts if you need to. It's heavy, but it's a goddamn work of art. And yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, what's my thing? Yeah, till next week, no matter where you are in the world, be well and be loved.